Welcome to SciSage, where everything is simple. We all get told we should sleep more, but what is our brain actually doing all night? Turns out it's not just resting, not even close. We're about to dive into the 4 surprising ways your brain uses sleep to make you smarter, healthier, and way more skilled.
So let's just start with a belief that so many of us fall for, that to get ahead, you've got to sacrifice sleep, right? In this hustle culture, sleeping feels like a luxury we can't afford. But what if that trade-off isn't just a bad deal? What if it's actively sabotaging the very success we're chasing? Okay, the science on this is just brutal. And this isn't about feeling a little groggy. This is about measurable, hard data. Look at this. You drop from a full 8 hours of sleep down to just 6, and bam, your cognitive performance plummets by 30%. Get only 4 hours, and you are literally operating at less than half your brain's capacity. And the really scary part, this isn't just a one-off bad day. It's a cognitive debt that just keeps piling up night after night.
And that leads us to this huge paradox, right? The sleep productivity paradox. We trade sleep for more hours at our desk, thinking it's a net gain. But in reality, we're crippling the very tool, our brain, that we need to use those hours well. It's like trying to run a supercomputer on a dying battery. So understanding this is the first step. Now, let's see what that supercomputer does when we actually let it charge.
So what if we've been looking at this whole thing completely backward? What if sleep isn't the enemy of getting things done, but it's actually the most powerful, performance-enhancing tool we have, and we're just not using it? Let's get into the incredible work your brain is doing to make you sharper and smarter, all while you think you're just knocked out. All right, let's talk about the first superpower that sleep gives you. Every single night, your brain transforms from this kind of chaotic classroom into a super meticulous library. And sleep? Sleep is the head librarian. This is not passive rest, people. It's an active, organized process of managing everything you took in that day.
The fancy term for this is memory consolidation. Just imagine everything you learned today is written down on these fragile little sticky notes. They're flimsy, they can get lost easily. Well, during deep sleep, your brain systematically takes those notes, rewrites them into permanent, hardbound books, and then carefully files them away in your long-term memory. It's an absolutely crucial process if you want to actually learn anything. Okay, but how powerful is this process really? Is it just some minor filing task, or is it something more? Well, there was this fascinating experiment that shows just how much we can supercharge it. This is so cool. Researchers had people play a memory game, like a card-matching game, while smelling a specific scent. Then, later, while those people were in their deepest stage of sleep, the researchers gently puffed that exact same scent into the room. And the result? The next day, their memory for that game was significantly stronger. That scent acted like a little tag, telling the sleeping brain, hey, this stuff right here, this is important, save it.
So what this really means is, sleep doesn't just save your memories, it actively upgrades them. It's a genuine cognitive enhancer. It makes your learning more robust, more permanent than it ever could be if you were awake. Now for our second superpower. While that memory librarian is busy organizing all the new books, a completely different crew comes in. This is the cleanup crew. And their job isn't about storing information. It's about taking out the trash. See, all day long, your brain's neurons are firing away, which is great for thinking and living. But it also produces a ton of metabolic waste. Think of it like mental exhaust fumes. And this junk just builds and builds throughout the day. If it's not cleared out, it starts to clog up the whole system. So how does it get cleaned? Well, the brain has this incredible cleaning crew called the glymphatic system. It's a marvel. During deep sleep, your brain cells actually shrink. They can shrink by up to 60%, which opens up all these channels between them. And then cerebrospinal fluid rushes through these new, wider channels, literally power washing away all that accumulated gunk. This system is 10 times more active when you're asleep than when you're awake. And here's why this is so unbelievably important. The waste being cleaned out isn't just random junk. The system is specifically targeting toxic proteins like beta amyloid and tau. Now, if those names sound familiar, they should. They're the exact proteins that form the plaques and tangles that are directly linked to devastating diseases like Alzheimer's. This means that getting quality sleep isn't just about your performance tomorrow. It's a nightly preventative defense for the long-term health of your brain.
Okay, we've seen how sleep helps you remember facts and how it cleans your brain. But this third superpower, this is where it gets really exciting for anyone trying to get better at something. This is how sleep takes you from just knowing what to do to truly mastering how to do it. We already know that not sleeping devastates all the obvious things, right? Your attention span is shot, your reaction time slows to a crawl, but it's that last item on the list, procedural memory, that's the real secret sauce for mastering new skills.
Procedural memory is just the fancy term for muscle memory. It's the how-to knowledge, how to play that chord on a guitar, how to perfect your tennis serve, how to perform a delicate surgery. And it turns out REM sleep is your own personal training ground. As you dream, your brain is actively replaying those motor patterns over and over, strengthening those circuits. You are, quite literally, practicing in your sleep. And you wake up measurably better at a skill than you were when you went to bed.
So, we've seen what sleep does for us, which is amazing. But to really get it, we need to understand how it works. Let's just peek behind the curtain for a second at the simple chemistry that controls all of this, because this is the key to seeing why sleep is the ultimate performance hack. All day long, as your brain is working, a chemical called adenosine is slowly, steadily accumulating. The best way to think of it is like a pressure gauge for sleepiness. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine builds up, and the higher that sleep pressure gets, making you feel more and more tired. Now here's where your morning coffee comes in. Adenosine works by fitting perfectly into receptors in your brain, like a key in a lock. When it clicks, it tells your brain, hey, it's time to rest. Caffeine is a master imposter. It has a similar shape, so it can slide into those same locks and just block them. It doesn't get rid of the adenosine. It just puts its fingers in your brain's ears so it can't hear the adenosine screaming that it's tired. Meanwhile, that sleep pressure is still building up silently in the background.
And this brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Masking your tiredness with caffeine is just hiding from the problem. The only way to actually relieve that sleep pressure and to unlock all those incredible benefits we've talked about is to sleep. That's when your brain can finally get to its real essential work, clearing out the adenosine, consolidating your memories, washing away those toxins, and mastering your skills.
So in the end, it really comes down to this. Every hour of sleep you decide to skip is not an hour gained. It's an hour you are borrowing from your future performance, from your future health, from your future potential. It's time we stop looking at sleep as a cost and start seeing it for what it truly is, the single most effective investment you can make in yourself every single day.